Welcome, everybody, to another call to reaction video. I'm your host today, Dylan Camacho, and today we are covering a match that I haven't even seen yet. How inappropriate for me to react on this one. When I own it up front, I haven't got to watch this. This is both a reaction and a breakdown of all that sorts. But with me today, Paul Nuzio. I actually got the point right. Oh, shit.
There you go. I know. We're getting better at that.
I know. It's always the other way. It's always the other way.
That way. I am here. I have seen this match, so this is a very cool perspective of one who hasn't seen it, one who has seen it, and one who actually lived it. With our great friend here, Mr. Eric Zebra. How are you doing today?
Hey guys, I'm okay. I'm melting a little. It's very hot, which is why I'm in my living room. But also, this is where I filmed the match, so it seemed appropriate. Like,
can I actually have to note, since I just saw the match, it's going to be interesting having you in the Batman shirt while we're watching you in the Superman shirt. Yeah, World's Finest together right there, all in one video. Looks like
I am World's Finest now. I'm all of it. Forget about whoever else was a part of it. It's just me now.
Just me. Well, that's a little free game here first. So you find out you get Paul Preston in round one.
Because of course I do.
The Powder Keg, right?
Yeah, of course. It's like at this point, I expect to get a ridiculous matchup in the first round of a tournament. It's no longer a surprise to me. Would I love a softball? Absolutely, that'd be great. But that said, a match like this gives me a chance to prove myself, right? Like, because if I beat Paul Preston, then that's a big deal, right? Like that means something. So I was excited because it's one of those matches where it's like, oh, that's going to be hard. I know I can do it. So it's exciting to have an opportunity like that. If it's also a little terrifying, then, such is life.
I kind of respect that it's kind of that hard-hitting opponent, right? Because Paul Preston, obviously no slouch. Like, that guy is...
He's so good.
He is so good. Love Paul Preston here, and this is a hard match for me just to even cheer for him because I love you guys both. But I'm going to give the slight edge on Zipper just because, one, he's on the show, but two, I anytime I see Zipper live, I just get a lot of time with Zipper. I take as much as I can. We're both geeky and nerdy in that way, and that's a personal fan favorite of mine. Are there any softballs in this tournament? Says Zeke. Great point. I don't know. This is a stacked tournament from top to bottom. Really, I heard they wanted to give you Dan Murrell off the bat, Zipper, but he was busy holding the title, so they just said Paul Preston's the next we have to do.
Yeah. Well, you gave the nod to Zipper, and before, like when the tournament was first announced, I gave the nod to Paul, and then I watched how Zipper has been training and stuff, and his IG level. I talking to Kaiser, looking at his dungeon level. I noticed that Zipper's been getting, and it's not kissing ass, but I know you've been getting better throughout the tournament, throughout the season. You've been kind of getting more you got a little more confidence in yourself, a little bit more thing. And so by the end, before the match, yesterday, I said, I think I'm going to go with the upset. I think I'm going to go with Zipper. I think he's got this, and he can take it. So we'll get to see who was right, and hopefully we're both right. And
I'm glad you saw the light, Paul. I'm glad you came around.
That's what it is. I saw the light.
Because here's the thing. People keep saying that to me. People keep saying, oh, you've been getting so much better this year. I'm just like, no, I've always been this good. You all just started paying attention.
Is that what it was?
So...
Hey, I run a very black and white scheme with my stuff. I have the wonderful Migs McCurley do as much stats as humanly possible. So I'm like, all right, I feel this way, but is this actually real or is there numbers to back it? And I haven't talked with her on it, but I'm 99% sure there are numbers to back the difference between that and that. But again, you did great with World's Finest. I mean, you guys played against the Shirewolves in a pretty knockout match, and you were half that team. So to say that you aren't strong competitors, and I'm not saying Paul didn't say that's the case.
I was going to say, I never said you weren't strong.
We all heard you, Paul.
Yeah,
we all heard it.
He said Zipper's trash, bottom tier. He should have got a play-in match. What, Paul? You animal. God. No, we love Zipper. We love Paul. I can't wait to get this match started and to get into it and to really break it down. So without further ado, Paul, do you want to wave the magic wand?
We'll start right for the gameplay. Let's go right into it.
Yeah, we'll get right into the meat of it, guys.
Previews are great. Obviously, Kaiser is a national treasure. Kate is also pretty fun, but let's go right into the match here. So.
Oh yeah.
Well then, Mark, there's only one thing left to say. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to schmodown!
Man, you've been practicing that. The throat of Brad Gilmore, as platinum as it gets. Sir, I defer to you for the first question.
All right, gentlemen, your first question.
Ready to pause already.
In action adventure. Which Die Hard sequel takes place in Russia and involves John's son, Jack McClane.
Do need the name of the film here.
Yeah.
Really? Everyone
thought
loves
long
these
and hard
sequels,
about
right?
naming
Everyone loves
something.
these movies.
4 letters.
Look for your guy Mark.
I
Is my
like
favorite.
Go to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down, Paul. All right, we are going to go to.
Come on.
Ah,
He was still writing.
Do you want a challenge?
No, it's just bull. It's fine.
Okay. I do
What is
see
the
a
answer?
challenge in the chat. Are we going to have a challenge after question number 1?
Here's the thing, Paul. We're going to make this quick and easy for you so you can get back to your job at Speaker City today, okay? Challenge. He was still writing when the clock was up. He was writing. That's a blatant foul.
Look, joke's on you, pal. Speaker City's closed because of COVID-19.
All right, we are going to have
Old
the
school
challenge.
nickname in this league.
The
All right,
challenge has been issued, and we will be right back with our ruling.
all right. Well, intermission is happening. I love this challenge already.
I've already seen a lot of people talking crap about this challenge because they're like, everyone gets away with that all the time. That's people are really loose about it.
Just
That
because
doesn't mean we have to be. There are rules.
Yes, exactly. Just because people do doesn't mean that it's not challenge worthy, though. Like,
Yeah.
Advantage of every possibility you can take advantage of, and I think it's a great challenge just because it's going to be. I bet you it's going to be happening more and more now. You're going to see people be more sticklers for it now, and that's what needs to happen. You can't let it just run up forever.
see, extra on part of this too. Challenges can be so heavy on the precedent set before it, and I feel like nobody's just owned up and said, "Let's set the precedent finally."
Well, to be totally honest, I kind of don't feel like I should even have to challenge on that. I think the people on the desk should make that call. If they see you still writing, they should just say, you didn't have the answer in time. You don't get to submit an answer.
Yeah.
But if that's the way it's going to be, where you have to challenge, if this makes people be more strict about it, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's actually a very accurate statement because the desk has always been one to be a little more like, I wouldn't say lax, but they are tolerant of things like that. I think
Yes.
Right.
You got to make sure they're keep them on their toes.
So
Absolutely.
15 seconds, get that answer, not 16 and a half. Let's start cracking down on these guys.
So Dylan, what do you predict? Do you think the desk?
Ooh, my prediction for this challenge, not having seen the match, I think that they what they should do is they should invalidate the answer at this point, right? Because you can't say, well, he only got these last 3 letters in, and then the answer just wouldn't make sense with the last 3 letters that he obviously got in last second.
Right.
That would be what my call would be, but if they say, well, we've always been a little lax in the past, that's our precedent, then I could see him going that way.
I will say that having seen the match, my prediction had been that they were going to let him get away with it and give him like a warning and say that was like the last time you're going to get a chance to do it, that kind of thing, like a slap on the wrist kind of thing. That's all I thought was going to happen. But let's go to the tape.
Let's see it. Oh, no. I need to know. Oh, man, this is the first time I haven't seen a match going into this, and I'm so anxious now.
I'm glad I get to be here to watch your
had indeed. After conferring with the judges, it was evident that, yes, time had indeed ran out, and Paul Preston was still technically writing, so we cannot accept his answer. He is going to actually not be eligible to answer this question. Again, he doesn't lose a point because it's round number 1, but we will simply go to Eric Z-Man Zipper for his.
Absolutely right, man. I want everybody to win.
And we'll
fair call, man. It's a
back
fair
in the waiting
call.
room.
It is.
All right.
In the future,
Z-Man,
I
what do
wouldn't
you
be
got?
surprised if
Live free or
they
die hard.
instead took away a
That is
JTE. I think that also would have been a fair ruling.
Yeah. I think if that.
Um,
Some type of penalty? Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know.
So what was your
It was a good
reaction like in
movie,
your head?
but
You
it was
didn't
a
think
good
about it
one,
anymore?
Die
You're just
Hard.
like, wow,
We
just
move on
move
to your
on?
next
Or were you
question.
like, yes,
Round
cool,
number
thanks.
1, and that is in the world.
I was really glad just because it felt like a momentum thing. Like if I can throw him off
Who
at the
plays
first
Julianne
question,
Potter?
then I want to do that. You know, like
she's in love with her best
Psychology is a
friend,
big part of the
Michael,
game, as we know.
In my best
Mhm.
friend.
Mindset, yeah, I could write
Brad
one second
Pitt, this
faster.
is quite a romantic entanglement. You ever been in something like that?
Also, just big shout out to
Many
Adam.
entanglements.
Hey there, Whit.
hi Adam.
It's very big. But it gives
I
you
have
a
to
chance
thank
to read
Adam
the
too for
countdown.
this
5,
match because he may or may not have given me some intel on Paul that came in really handy.
Well done, gentlemen.
Okay.
Eric, we
Okay.
are
I
ready for
wonder
a
if
full
that was
grant.
going to be the case. I think in
Julia
the back of my head, I'm like,
Correct for
come
a
on
point.
now. Adam knows a
And
lot about Paul.
Julia Roberts.
He is correct, and it is all tied up.
That's how we get so spicy with
One
factions
piece
now,
as
right?
we go to
Now, the whole
category
part-
number
it's
3, or
like-
question number 3, excuse me,
He's
in
really
the category of
thick with it,
dramas.
right under
We'll
his
find
chin. That's where
supporting
you gotta
roles
get.
from Lawrence Fishburne, Harrison Ford, Scott Glenn, and Dennis Hopper
There you go.
in
Sure.
what
Yep.
1979 war film?
No idea what this
That
is.
is quite an impressive cast, and I believe that was a couple years before you.
I shouldn't say. I mean, I did know it, but I would say it now. It just seems cheap to consider.
Yeah, no, just cheap. I actually have no idea what the question is. This is why I don't compete in the trivia show.
1, hands down, and we go to you, Paul Preston.
Apocalypse Now.
It is
Great
indeed
movie.
right now,
Oh,
and
it's a good
there you
movie.
go.
One of Harrison Ford's big run there. It's Star Wars, Apocalypse
You also
Now,
had it,
Empire,
knotted up
Blade
to
Runner.
2, and
I
then just
always
3
forget
correct. We
that
move
Harrison
on
Ford is
to your
in that
fourth
movie, and then he
question
pops up
in
for like
round
30
number 1,
seconds,
and that
and
is
I'm
in the
always
world
like,
of
oh
crime
yeah.
movies. Crime movies.
It counts.
Illegal
It
stuff. Gavin
counts.
knows about that.
Yeah.
Next question.
Maybe the greatest like
The
run of 5
Safdie
movies an
brothers
actor's ever done.
directed what actor in Uncut Gems as the film's lead? Howard.
You guys saw
Ratner.
Uncut Gems, right?
I
I know
did.
we're supposed to talk about the match, but I pretty much just always want to talk about Uncut Gems.
People were talking about this. Did you ever see it?
It's an anxiety ride, though, man. Like, I feel like it's on 11 the whole time, and I liken this like
3. Takes me a while. 2.
So
1.
dirty.
Hands down. Z-Man, back to you.
I like
love this
walked
performance.
or
Adam
I see
Sandler.
that movie and
You
the
are
walk
correct.
back in the rain. I was just
Tied.
like, oh my god!
All
Like
got the same.
my
Both have
brain
Adam
has been
Sandler. Very
shattered.
easily stated there, so I didn't.
That
need to
ending,
actually
my God, I'm not
repeat
going to spoil it for
it.
anybody, but that ending just like blew
All
me
right.
away.
Well, that gives
Are we holding for a Kaiser
What?
challenge?
Really give me anxiety. I feel you, Alex. The movie.
Okay, I think we're good. It's still tied going into
Clinical
question number
anxiety.
5
I
in
literally
fantasy
just said that
sci-fi.
there.
It is fantasy or science fiction. Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford co-star in what 2011
Well, Harrison Ford actually
sci-fi
again.
film?
Man, Harrison Ford's
I
fine
think
Which
we're getting a little
Harrison
clues
Ford
to
is
who
like
our
a big
writer's
strength of
favorite
Paul's,
actor
I think, and so it's like,
Both really
a
handsome
suspicious
individuals.
run of Harrison Ford
As always,
questions.
5.
What about the right?
No movie conspiracy over here.
2, 1. Bends down. Paul Preston.
Cowboys and Aliens.
Nailed it, and Z-Man to tie.
I could have swore it was Blade Runner 2049, Paul.
Remain tied. We move on to your next question.
A little
And
early
it
for
is
that.
in
I know.
category
Is
6.
there a
This is in the
precedent
category of
For the
comedy.
word "and" versus an ampersand or a plus, if a title
Sure,
has an
what?
ampersand in
Which
it instead of the
actor
word
known
"and,"
for
do
playing
they
a
need you
famous
to write a
MCU hero
friggin'
starred
ampersand
as
on the
teen
board?
Jake
I've
Don't
in
think
the
it's ever been
2001 film,
challenged. I
Not
know they
Another
accepted
Teen Movie.
both. It would be an
Okay.
interesting
And,
challenge to
you
do
know,
because
Brad,
they're
this is
getting
right
to
around
be
the
more
time I was
sticklers,
just kinda
obviously, with all
starting to lose
the
my faith in
articles and
spoof
the. I mean,
comedy
so it
as a
could
movie
be something in
genre.
the future that could be
I don't
challenged.
really remember.
Might be
that.
worth it. We should see what happens.
I
Never
think
know.
that's
You were
challenge
born.
is
Well, it's Supreme Court thing. You can't do anything until you challenge
One.
it. Right?
Yeah.
Hands down. We got
Also,
older
Zip,
brother
you better
than
get the
Z-Man. What do you got?
Chris Evans.
Okay.
Is in fact Chris Evans and Powder Keg.
Chris Evans.
Dylan threatening Zipper already.
Definitely neck and neck as we get to question
Better be
in
Chris
the
Evans.
category of horror/thriller.
He has the best scene in that whole movie.
Michael Jackson album. It is the subgenre in film. What 1984 horror film has a teenage protagonist named Nancy Thompson and gave us one of horror's most iconic slashers for the
My
first time?
first true horror movie I ever watched. I
Since you
think.
asked the question, now I
I
do
love
get to ask
Kevin
you,
Underwood.
what's your favorite cut off of Thriller?
That's
the
not.
album?
That's not this film.
Hey, man, pretty
But-
young.
All right. So more importantly,
I
focusing
love
on
questions like this too. Where
So,
what's that?
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I love questions like this where you know it's like one of three
One,
things, even if it's like
Z-Man,
even if you don't know where it's like
Right.
they phrase it as like one of
It is Nightmare on
iconic
Elm
horror
Street,
slashers. You're like, okay, that's one of three guys.
Mhm.
Because I have not actually seen this movie.
You put Nightmare on Elm Street versus a Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's true. If
Those
the
are kind of
if the precedence, then A could have been a precedence on that one. So this is always good for knowledge.
This actually might be very true too. Kevin Smith was
Your
on
last
SAN
question
for
to see if we
supposed to be
can-
for half an hour a day. He was there for like 2.5 hours.
He's in the world of
I know. I
animated
talked for about 2 hours and I had to go to
and
work.
run
I thought they were going to push this match back at one point. I
Who
thought
directed
SAN was still going to be going.
2005's stop-motion animated film The Corpse Bride?
So, Zipper, early on, let me do a quick analysis on this. You're tied with Preston at 6-6. How are you feeling just in this moment already? Because that means you already cleared a good first round.
Continue this tie.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
3, 2,
I
1, pens down.
I don't know. I like
Is it Henry Selick?
keeping pace with him was all I really
Sell it. Does Z-Man
needed.
have it for the lead?
Tim Burton.
He
But
does.
taking a lead is even better.
A 6 in favor
yeah.
of Eric.
That one had to have you
the
feeling good at
Zipper
that point.
as we
Right,
head
the
in.
lead right here. That's a big moment,
Number
right?
two,
Now the first time
that
you're
is
ahead of Paul.
the wheel round, the wheel of fate, doom, and ultimately
Exactly.
justice.
And I
It's,
said before,
leaving-
more confidence
Competitor is going to have a spin.
is such a big thing for you in your matches
You don't
on this
like what you
one,
saw.
so, I
And you
mean,
are awarded
yeah,
a
we're gonna
mulligan
cover
bet
it on
last name that
We
is
can
golf for
skip
2
past
over.
the
Once you
real
set on a
thing.
category, you're going to be
We all know the rules. We know the
Yeah.
rules.
We know the
Go as,
Brad, it is
go as well as Mark
Paul.
Ellis does pretty much at
Would
this
you like
point.
to spin first, or would you like to defer to your
I
opponent?
love that he brings Kate in for a second.
I don't know why Kate is here.
All right, Zipper.
In addition to getting Brad Gilmore from El Camino College, did you also get their videography department?
Is
First shot, I
Kaiser,
love it.
Z-Man, you guys want to spin first or defer to your opponent?
I would like to defer.
Okay, he's going to defer, which gives me a great opportunity to remind both parties.
It's amazing
that
how
there
much-
is a
Go ahead,
sacrifice
go ahead.
on the wheel,
I know there are
and
two minds about this, but I am firmly in the camp of always go second. I always want to go second. There's just something psychologically about knowing what target I'm trying to hit
Our loyal Patreon members.
that makes more
Welcome
sense.
to
It's
Back in
different. Like, so many people are passionate about either way. They have their different reasons, and they're both passionate about it.
I don't think there's a wrong way to it. It's just, again, it's totally preference stuff. Where I respect you for being a second foot person, because or defer because you're like, no, I'm like, I know where I need to strategize. I know where I can cut multiple points here if I need to. I think it's smarter. If I had to do it, I would do it that way. I don't think I'd be a momentum player.
Okay, there you go.
I think, yeah, I think there's something to be said for both, but it just, it's about what feels right.
Right.
First of all, you're doing great. Your penmanship's way better than the Zips. Okay, I know you wrote a little long, but at least you wrote the right answer. You and I both know it. And I didn't get to see, but I asked, "Hey, you want me to challenge that, Paul?" He didn't put Nightmare on Elm Street. He just put Nightmare.
Okay. So it did get noticed. All right.
I didn't see it. Our moment to challenge is over. We
Bring
don't
Alex
need to
on
worry.
and bring her mathematical equation. No, because we don't got time. We want to knock it.
Wait, what?
Listen.
I'm curious now. You'll have to tell me after.
Well, I'll give you the afterwards. All right, I'll tell you after. And it's smart and it's appropriate. And now it's right with it. But we don't got time for her to explain it on air.
This is a big one. This is a funny moment.
Okay, all right.
Fate, doom, and destiny, as you call it, Mark.
So the recipe, if you're curious, for that macaroni salad. Oh God, this feels like a stab in the heart.
Festival darlings.
What do you think, Kate? Should we keep it?
I'm real sorry
This
about
wheel,
that,
I
Paul.
swear, it seems to like
You just
do that kind of thing
listen,
all
you
the
do-
time,
you do
where it
whatever
hits
you
the
gotta
one
do
like that
now.
just makes story
I-
sense or
He wants
whatever.
to
Like,
spin again, is that right,
it's
Paul?
funny how well
Yeah,
it
he
works
wants
that
to
way.
spin again.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad memories.
Also,
The recipe for that macaroni is actually you just
Pure gold.
use actual hard macaroni. You don't cook it in advance. It gives it
ooh,
that-
okay.
Movies.
I'm
Okay.
about to pick.
We talk about fate, doom, and
Now,
destiny. Festival
were you?
darlings coming up first.
Well, how'd you
How-
feel when he
how
got that? Was
appropriate
that
for this
upsetting
match
to you
then?
at all, Zip? Or was
Lands on
that?
comic
No,
book.
I was glad. I was glad he got it. Because steal opportunities, and also I know Paul likes those movies, but I just don't know how much he rewatches them. I don't know that he dives deep on them the way that I had to when I was in Inner Geekdom.
Right.
Like-
Batman and Robin. Before she
I mean,
became
your
ill,
instinct
Mr. Freeze
served
gave
you
his
well
wife
on
a
that
necklace
one,
shaped like what?
Ooh, Snowflake. I recently just rewatched this.
Why?
Why? I don't know.
I would watch it for pure amusement value. But that's about it. Arnold Schwarzenegger singing and stuff. Come out of it. So.
Yeah. Behind the scenes.
Sing.
Two.
What's not the one rewatch about that?
This is a quicker next one. I was right at
All right, fair.
Is it A, a heart, B, a star, C,
Ooh.
an angel, or D, a snowflake?
I'm going to go with D.
D is correct for a point. Nice multiple choice there.
Out there.
And
So this is an interesting one for you playing on second. You kind of want to make this category or strong for you, right? But at the same time, it's kind of guilty because now you can't spin
With
it.
the nickname that Tony
That's
uses
true.
for Thor
Yeah.
in 2012's
Hopefully,
Avengers.
ideally, there are always enough things on the wheel that you're comfortable with that taking one off isn't going to be that big of a deal. That's always the hope, is that I can go into the match and just be like, okay, something I love is gone, but that's fine. Like, I still got options. And I actually really liked this wheel. I thought it was a really balanced, really fun wheel.
Four.
Yeah, multiple choice.
All right. Is it A, Goldilocks, B, Soccer Mom,
Well,
C,
kind of could see
Fabio,
Paul
or
getting a
D,
little
Point Break?
I'm not annoyed, but stressed.
Yeah.
Stressed.
Oh.
Kind of like, ugh.
He's annoyed.
Yeah.
He's mad about it.
Okay.
I can repeat those options once for you.
To be fair, I mean, if these movies you've just seen once, like these questions are definitely repeat ones.
Fabio or D, Point
Right.
Break?
These are harder 2-point questions, I'll say.
And the thing is, before I did all that IG studying, comic book movies has screwed me over too because the cuts are deep.
For 1 point
Yeah,
steal,
They just are.
you are going to get the option. I'm going to read you the question again, followed by the choices. What is the nickname that Tony used
I knew this one though.
in 2012 Avengers, which Thor
Thor
later
Ragnarok's so good.
It's so good. I love it.
2017 Thor Ragnarok? Is it A, Goldilocks, B, Soccer Mom, C, Fabio, or D, Point Break?
I already had it written down. Point Break.
Didn't need it, just need hands where we can see 'em. And
Is
Point
for writing it down just maybe a little extra edge just to poke at Paul on this one, or is that just like,
steal there. As
It's a little bit of that. It's just
Preston,
like
you have 2 questions
I
left
think
for
the
comic
act of
book
writing
movie.
it, of like seeing the other person writing the answer down for the steal, can just get you in your head. So I don't know. I know I don't have to write it down, but it seems
It's a joke or two where he is
like a good way to A, lock it in for myself, and B, some intimidation factor.
Doesn't hurt. Absolutely. You can always try something.
Can I also say that Lego Batman is
Go to
the
5.
most underappreciated comic book film probably ever.
Is it A,
It's
Arkham
delightful.
Asylum, C, The Phantom Zone, or D, Glacier Point?
This is why I automatically. There's very few people I personally DM to get on the show. You're one of them.
Powder Keg.
That was a big multiple choice
But
one.
I'm like, no, Zipper.
Back
I
even
gotta see what
eight.
it's
He was maneuvering his way around a
like.
tough
That's
ground.
a copy of Ghost of
Your last
Hey,
question.
for a copy of Ghost of Tsushima with action money, that's
Comic
probably
book
the We'll
movies.
get
Well, who plays the character
I want to
Wanda
I just want to be a samurai so bad.
That's a
Positive
big
thinking,
2
positive
point.
I truly believe that of all the like archetypal like characters like cowboys, ninjas, samurai,
It was a strong suit for him. This wasn't
whatever,
a-
all of the
He
Vikings, whatever. I think samurai are easily the coolest. Like
Zipper's turn for round.
Can I also note that everybody in chat is backing us and make it delightful and how great Lego Batman is. Thank you.
And
Also, being podcast members, hey everybody, I see you. But okay, so we're
These vibes
Paul
out.
gets a very clutch question. He definitely needs it after round 1, and we're 10-8 on this one.
I think we got this.
Obviously, Kai's already asking you. You have to feel good coming into this one.
I learned from my Stacy match not to count points till it's over, but I feel
So
good.
that's why you're ready to go. You only need something to really stomp on a little bit. That's why we want to get a little bit, give it a little further ahead.
Here we go.
Yeah, I was feeling pretty comfortable at this point, and there honestly was really only 1 or 2 slices on there that I was like worried about.
Classic match.
Absolutely, but comic book movies off the board. You know that the strength of Z-Man's, and it lands on Nicole Kidman.
So did you actually consider it, or was that kind of more of a yeah?
Personally,
I did consider it. I like Nicole Kidman.
There's things on there you don't like, but there's also things on there you do. I mean, but
Yeah.
it's really how you
Yeah,
feel.
I'm glancing at it though, just at a glance.
Let's spin again. Why not?
Pixar comes to mind as something I feel like you might actually be low key good at. Honestly, I think you're good at directors. Like, I don't have your stats in front of me, but I want to say that there's some decent director questions.
To me.
2010 would have been my very next guess, though.
Wow.
2010, man. It's just you'll get a lot of Nolan questions. And we just watched those the other day.
I was very
We'll be asking the
relieved.
question.
I was very relieved and like happy to spin 2010s. Like I feel good about that.
Zipper.
That's probably true, but I think that's
2010s.
true of everybody almost in a way. It's always easier to get kind of like the casting questions and MD type questions than it is an actual plot point.
Films.
Oh yeah,
Your engagement, Zero Dark.
I love that right off the bat you get an MCU based like context for questions. Too. Like,
Correct for 2 points. And
this is balancing out the Harrison Ford questions he got out earlier, right? So now your favorite round two.
It's really just nice to see somebody else have my usual bad luck for once. You know what I mean? Like usually the wheel screws me. To be in a match where that's happening to the other person, I'm like, all right, I can live with this.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Is this one all?
La La Land.
That is correct for another 2
Oh.
points. Eric Zipper.
How many times is when I feel like I actually started watching movies? So like I'm always intrigued by this.
Time for your third question, or is Mark?
Yeah, I got back
The
into
penultimate
movies in 2010
question.
for kids for
I
totally tempered everything.
I think that you made it up.
Action
I swear.
movie
The
wise.
fun thing is, the third to last is the anti-penultimate question. So you can start using that one too, Mark.
I hope he uses that from now on. I
That
really
is
don't.
fun.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, apparently he was holding on to that for next season. So
Oh.
Playing spoiler already at the turn.
Yeah.
Move.
sorry.
Who appeared as a guiding force for the girls in the dream sequences in the 2011 movie Sucker Punch.
Paul, you and I have talked about how I feel about Zack Snyder.
We have talked about it. I hear that question. I'm like,
All right, multiple choice.
it's gonna definitely
Here they
be
are.
multiple choice.
Multiple choice answers are A, Scott Glenn,
I don't know.
I'm not gonna rewatch this one too much, even for studying
C,
purposes.
John Hamm, or D, Anthony
The way he themes things, man. I don't know. I think this movie's a strange guilty pleasure of mine, though. I think I actually did like this movie last time I watched it.
Scott
I think
Glenn
it's a
is
great
correct for one
screensaver.
more
I
point
think
for
it's like an
Eric Zipper.
amazing, like, I think it's like cool to like have on in the background and look at and be like, oh, dope.
Yeah.
Good job.
And then, like,
Right? Like, I feel like that's how I feel about it overall. Judging by the election skit, not.
What 2014 film follows the character Regan Thompson? as
this
he
question
tries
is a question that should be easy, but is phrased in a way that really, that like
what we talk
the
about
information they chose to give me really threw me off.
Yeah, no, exactly. I the same way because I had the answer too. I'm like that sound.
Let me go
They want to get multiple choice. You're like, oh yeah, definitely.
All right.
That's what
Like
it is.
obviously.
Is it A, Begin Again?
Oh.
Collateral.
Oh yeah. No, okay, I'm there now. I'm there now.
I'm not going to do that specifically though, just to trip you up. I feel so.
And that is correct for
Right.
1 point. Eric Zipper.
I mean, I respect that, but I feel like that kind of stuff is more relevant for food.
Right, a nice set of answers.
Still get a little bit of context, but the question's like more context.
I mean-
You had to watch it, right?
Yeah, the character's name is definitely like there aren't any other movies I can think of with a character named Regan.
Right.
Anything
But-
can happen. Bottom line, hold on to your hats, folks, as we progress into round number 3. Like I said, this
Can I just say?
round unless we go.
All right, so Paul, you wanna?
We are-
Oh.
We're doing good on time. We're about to get into it.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna apologize. I'm like sometimes, Dylan, your audio is like a little bit in and out, so I'm having some trouble hearing you sometimes. So if at any point you say something and then I say something where you're like, I'm not sure he's actually responding to what I said, you're right.
Gotcha. All right. If anybody else having audio problems with me, let me know in the chat. But right here, I want to go right before we get into the round 3, like. Just dive into that. I want to tell the difference immediately, even just on this picture. Zipper and Preston's body language, psychology, and just how much of a mood it is, right? So this is, I feel like, as a viewer, it's been the first time in a hot minute that I've seen you have like a positive mentality going into round 3. I don't really feel like we're in contrast with it. That's not a slight, but it's true. Like, it is.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. To be up going into round 3 felt amazing. Also, look, this is not me buying into conspiracy theories or whatever. It's not me saying that I won because Christian wasn't on the desk, but
Christian wasn't on the desk.
Christian wasn't on the desk. Which, Brad and a part of that might just be that, Brad and Mark are very chill people, and I love Christian, but he takes this seriously and is intense. So I wonder if there was an element of like with Brad and Mark being there, of me feeling like taken care of and just being like, oh, we're just hanging out. This is fine. I don't know. I don't know if that's part of it, but could have been. Right.
I think it might have to do with what happens next with you before we get to round 3. I liked what you did here. I'll show. We'll play it. I'll show Dylan what I meant.
Okay.
Round number 3 works. We need 3
Let's get past the rare.
each competitor. They may not.
Wait a minute. I don't know the points. I'm not familiar. The rules.
Your 3 numbers first.
I don't know. Do I get Kaiser in here to talk through this with me?
You
Great.
certainly can have your manager go ahead and start your 60 seconds now.
Zip, I
Kaiser.
want you to take a deep breath and listen to every question. Use your
Yeah.
repeats. You've got them all. Okay, pal?
I will. Here's the thing. I always have bad luck when I pick these numbers, so I'm going to let you be my good luck charm, man. Pick 3 numbers for me.
Oh, no.
What are the ranges I can choose from?
1 to 20, sir.
1 to 20? I'm going to go with 9, 5, and 7.
9, 5.
That's a good luck charm. Now you got to have Kaiser do it all the time now, right?
I don't trust myself to pick the numbers. I just don't. So
The funnier part to me too is Kaiser comes in and he starts talking. He's like, yeah, whatever you're gonna say about the repeats. Well, yeah. Tell me what numbers. Kaiser's a little verbose sometimes, we get it.
Yeah. It's why we love him. We.
He's called Trash Mouth for a reason sometimes,
Does that ever get distracting though? Whenever you're maybe like super honed in this moment, it definitely feels like you're very focused on the match, and you're like, all right, I don't want to lose this mentality. And then Kaiser comes in, and you're like, Kaiser, numbers though, numbers, buddy.
Yeah, a little. It can, but it can get distracting. But on the flip side of that, it's also really nice to have somebody else to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. To have somebody else who is getting in the other person's head, who is being ridiculous and over the top. And I mean, because of the sort of fusion of competition and performance, sometimes there's the pressure to do both at the same time. Being able to focus on the gameplay and be like, Kaiser's just gonna do Kaiser things. In some ways, it takes pressure off. Sometimes it's a little bit like, yeah, Kaiser, I know this is a funny bit, but we're playing a match.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. 5 and 7. Those are Eric Cooper's numbers. Thank you.
All right.
He had to think long and hard about which numbers were between 1 and 20.
He really did put thought
As we
into
go
it, though. He really considered the numbers, which I appreciate.
Yeah, Paul,
really
go ahead and give us your numbers, and then we'll start the 60-second countdown for you and your manager, unless you want to consult with your manager about the number selection itself.
Sorry, I didn't.
Was there any meaning to the numbers that he picked? Have you ever asked if he's like, oh yeah, we're playing those or what?
I didn't ask, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
Around the house, it's very difficult. I'm trying to make it for high in protein, not too carby.
I love that Mark and Brad get so annoyed by their macaroni salad talk.
Just use it raw.
And I don't know if it's real or
Put
exaggerated,
it
but
raw,
Mark was annoyed at
Put it in
voice.
raw and then you put the mayonnaise on. It's great. But well, it seemed like Kaiser didn't know numbers. Am I wrong?
that way.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Brad. You want to be on the den next year? I like people who agree with me.
Listen, they got a group called the Dungeon. They don't have a dominatrix. They're doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
What they picked,
You never know, Powder Keg. You never know. You might not show it.
9, 5, 7. They picked. I'm going to pick 10, 6, and 8.
No
Okay.
comment.
There we have it.
8 for the
We'll
Powder
talk
Keg,
afterwards.
Paul Preston.
10, 6, and 8. And now the competitors are welcome back in as we begin the questioning in round number 3.
All right, Mark. Paul Preston, you're going to be going first. You selected category number 10, which corresponds. You selected you selected the number 10, which corresponds to the category of musical. And for your 2-point question, what
Paul already not happy.
2002 musical won Best Picture at the Academy Awards?
Chicago.
But he gets it just like that.
That is correct for 2 points. Paul Preston, 12-14, still trailing Eric Z-Man Zipper. So we will go to your
4
next
is not a
question, your
super comfortable
3-point
lead. Like 4 points is
category.
like
You
anything
selected
can happen. You
number
know.
6,
Absolutely.
and that corresponds to Leonardo.
I don't know, Alex. I don't ask her
DiCaprio
about that.
I said no comment.
Quick first answer, Brad. Let's see how he does with this one to take the lead. Potentially.
All right. Your question. In which 1998 film does Leonardo DiCaprio play 2 different roles?
I have to admit, this one surprised me. Sometimes when a hit surprises me, sometimes when a player misses something, it surprises me.
Yeah, I was actually pretty shocked too. But,
5, 4.
This movie actually gets asked about not infrequently.
Yes, you're correct.
In which 1998 film does DiCaprio play 2 different roles?
Is this the one where he's acting as a doctor?
No, but you might be thinking of Dead Ringers, where Jeremy Irons plays 2 roles.
Yeah.
That is incorrect. We're looking for the man in the iron mask.
Oh, IMS does get
That sets up something very.
Do you remember when
very,
Janine for a 5-pointer got asked who directed that movie, and it's a guy who's
he
made
has to
2
answer
movies?
his 5-point question
Yeah.
to avoid
That was
the
an awful
TKO.
5-pointer. I mean,
That's right. It all comes down to this. If he gets it correct, he's not only going to take the lead off Zipper, he's also going to take the prospect of a TKO off the table. So a lot riding on this one question, Brad.
All right. And you selected for your 5-point question category number 8, which corresponds to Pixar. And your question. As of the end of 2019, how many Pixar films has Michael Giacchino provided the score?
did you know it?
This is a hard-ass
20
question.
seconds.
It really is.
That is a brutal 5. That is a 5-pointer through and through. Like,
So I take it you didn't know, but you didn't know the answer, Eric, did you?
No, I didn't even bother trying to like do. I was like, eh.
yeah.
Giggling inside.
4, 3, 2.
JTE.
Yeah, you can see me like being a little twitchy and like.
As of the
Ready to
end
jump out of your
of
seat, kinda thing.
2019,
Zipper, you're doing what I'm
Pixar
doing watching this
has
match.
Michael Giacchino provided the score?
It's not me this time.
I know, right? It felt so good to be on the other side. And his answer is a really good guess.
Yeah, it's close.
And your
It's close.
the Z-Man Zipper.
Tale of two emotions right there in the bottom half.
The answer was 7. One off from it. So close. It was The Incredibles, Ratatouille, Up, Cars, Inside Out, Coco, and The Incredibles 2.
Actually, Cars 2, not Cars. I think. That's fine.
See?
It's fine.
Close enough at this point for the aftermath. But yeah, you're right. You're right also.
Eric Zipper, we heard you exclaim
Oh my
in
God.
jubilation. How do you feel right now? TKO of Paul Preston.
You know, we can watch your interview or we just interview ourselves. So tell us, like, for those how did you feel at that moment?
Yeah.
Well, I was at a loss for words. I end up being like, Kaiser, you take this one, because I was so just like, I TKO'd Paul Preston. I could believe it, but I couldn't believe it. And so I was definitely just in a state of like shock and delight. And yeah, it was, I you know, it felt good. It felt good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so great. I'm sorry. I'm just watching this match still. I'm processing. I'm in your moment now. I'm like, oh my God, Zipper, you just not TKO Paul.
I missed one question. I missed the first question, and that's it.
Let's show. Actually, I can show you right now. We have our wonderful Megs has put forth her stats package as she does.
Oh, fun.
I'll try to zoom in on some of these.
Yeah.
Round 1. There you go. Round 1. There is that 7-6. All those just the action venture one you missed, just the Die Hard, and who cares about that 5th Die Hard anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm proud to have missed it.
So here's the big one right there. Eric Zipper, 92.3%.
If my math is correct, my overall accuracy in singles now is 84%, which is up there with like only a couple other people. I feel really good about it.
I don't have the number. That's a great number, man. That's a great number. Yeah, I'd go to war with that.
I think 84% tops right around top 10, top 15. Definitely top 15. I don't know about top 10.
Might be top 10.
If we're just talking singles, it's like top 5. But if we're talking overall, then yeah.
Right.
But
there you go.
Man, yeah, that's.
Look at that round. So he had to check down the multiple choice on all the questions except for the one, and you got a steal. That's a huge steal, and you swept your category. Checked down multiple choice twice. I mean, that's going to win you games right there.
Right? Thanks, guys.
Zipper came in hungry. He cleaned his plate round 2. He said, nope, vegetables I'm eating it all. Every bit of it. Clean that.
You know, a really good way to not get screwed over by round 3 is to just not have to play round 3.
Turns out.
Who knew, right? Who knew?
All right, Zipper. So here's your new strat for the rest of this tournament. You don't get any round 3s anymore. You TKO them, all right? You just TKO them or take them out round 2.
Great.
Well, let's talk about that. So you're in the corner there. Your next opponent is going to be. Let me get that banner down so we can see that.
The winner of Mancuso and that one.
Yeah, so it's either whoever. So you got to fit. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Because it's going to be Ethan now, not
Correct.
Roka, right?
Yeah.
Roka on the
Okay.
other side. Erwin, it's whoever be Sabrina versus Vinny, which debuts tomorrow,
Yeah.
and then they face Erwin, and it's whoever wins that. So Erwin, Sabrina Ramirez, or Vinny Mancuso. Well, I mean, that's not to say anything. I mean, obviously anything can happen.
Right.
Anything can happen.
But I would probably be being prepared for Ethan Erwin. Probably, I would say, because that's probably considering the games he's putting up recently.
I would love to play against, like, I'm pulling for Vinny against Sabrina, obviously, because he's the dungeon, but also because Vinny also has Don't Panic tattooed on his left arm, and we feel like we need the Don't Panic versus Don't Panic match. We need that.
I'd be all for it. So
yeah, so hopefully that shakes out. But Sabrina is scary. Vinny is scary. Obviously, Ethan is
so scary.
In my opinion, Ethan is the scariest player in this game. Scarier than Dan, scarier than anyone else. I think that there's something about his chillness and his total unflappability and his knowledge base. He scares me more than anyone else in the Showdown. So it'll be fine, I'm sure.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. He is a very scary person. But you know what? You got to go in. Sometimes you go in like that, and you're like, and that could be play your best. You can play your best game that way because you feel you have any moves at that point, really.
I mean, I think this says a lot to sit there and be able to say, all right, let's just take this big dick energy and let's just see if we can just slay the beast, man. You know, you're like, this is a mountain. But think of it this way, though. How many people had you counted out against Preston in this match, right?
Everyone.
It was going to be an upset, and you TKO'd.
You TKO'd him. Not just one. You TKO'd him.
And you better believe that I'm going to throw that around as constantly. Every opportunity, I'm going to be like, I TKO'd Paul Preston. I don't know what you're talking about, but I TKO'd Paul Preston. So
I'm seeing shades of the Guy Merle stuff all over again.
A little bit, I realize that. You got to have that energy and take it and run with it as long as you can. You milk that shit.
Exactly.
Just saying, I voted for you. Alex, all right. Oh, before I forget, so Alex's explanation on why you should go second, right, is that, and this is more, I'm going to butcher it intentionally because I know she's going to get mad. So Alex's perception on picking round 2 is that if you should pick second, if you feel as though that there are more categories that you feel uncomfortable with than comfortable with. So the idea is that they're going to spin to get one of those uncomfortable categories off, percentage-wise you're left with more of that. On the flip side, if you have categories that you feel way more confident within, and there's only like maybe 1 or 2 that you don't feel comfortable with, spin first so you guarantee the percent to get a category that you're going to favor. That's the gist of it. Alex would have taken longer, I think.
She already says you're doing it wrong.
Alex, you can DM Eric Zipper on your own time and explain it. I'm just going to butcher it on. But yeah, that's the gist of it. I explained it perfectly, and there's no flaws in that one at all. So, but yeah, Erwin as a possible next match, Sabrina or Vinny. I mean, that's TBD. It's a nice little formation. All right, see, I didn't butcher it.
No, you're not too bad.
Whatever. You can give me trash at the next Twitch hangout, Alex. I don't. Whatever. But gosh, all right. So coming out after the show, right? So we're in this. You're going into the next round. Obviously, you probably prefer Vinny at this point over even Sabrina or Ethan, but. You know, I guess what's the game plan now? Do you chill? Do you grind back into the study fest again? Like, how do you keep your brain sharp but also not overwhelmed in this coming forward matches?
I mean, I've got to prepare for the worst case scenario, right? So I have to prepare for the fact that I may be facing Ethan Erwin. So I am trying to study and prepare as though that's what's happening. You know, obviously I am pulling for Vinny and or Sabrina, but I have to just assume that I am about to be playing one of the best players in the game and make sure that I'm on that level, right? That's the only thing that you can do. So I will admit I didn't go super hard in the study zone before this match against Paul, partly because I went really hard before my match against Mike. And then when I lost, I really was like feeling salty about it. It was like, I spent so much time preparing for that. And so going into Paul, it was like, okay, I'm just kind of going to like, you know, I'm going to get a little bit in that mindset, but I'm not going to drive myself crazy with it. Whatever happens, happens. And that worked out. That said, I'm not sure whatever happens is an approach that will let me beat Ethan Erwin. So,
she has Janine on speed dial, being his former partner, maybe.
Right.
Oh, there you go. I should hit up Janine. Yeah. but yeah, so I'm trying to strike a balance between those two things, between being prepared and being ready and being studied and going into it relaxed and loose and with an attitude of whatever happens. So if I can strike a 50-50 split between those two, then I think I'll be okay.
Right. And I think it says a lot for your, again, confidence is such a big term that I specifically see with certain players. And Zipper, you're one of these players. I feel like that confidence coming in, one thing to reflect to you is that Paul Preston is by no means any slouch. If you're saying you're trying to be in the caliber of Ethan Irwin, I mean, bro, you're just played a player and beat them. That is pretty darn close. Preston, I mean, we know this. We've seen him play in the teams division. He's had great singles run. He's even been Bateman into overtime whenever he played on that. And these are all champ level players as far as that's concerned. And you just
I would argue that if you told me, like before this whole thing began, that Paul Preston was going to face Ethan Irwin at one point, there would be people who go, "Oh, that's going to be a great match. You never know what's going to happen," that kind of thing. And people would have given Paul Preston a shot to beat Ethan.
And I TKO'd Paul Preston. See, it's fun to say.
Right?
Is that what you did? Want to say that again?
I TKO'd Paul Preston.
Oh, okay.
Into their properties, man. If you TKO'd somebody who would have gave Ethan Irwin a fair fight, then that should have been that's a fair fight for you, man. I mean, that's how you should be looking into it.
And you mentioned before in the preview, you were talking about how Adam Wick gave you some tips, not just necessarily for Paul Preston, but you were just talking about how talking movies was a better studying for you, kind of kept you loose. And that's where you can continue with it. And that's how you should continue. It's worked so far, right? I mean,
yeah.
But you also admit and kind of said, and I don't know if this is official, but you said that you and Adam were going to be definitely teaming together, and that's going to be the team for the tournament. Is that kind of what you were intending?
I don't know how official that is, but that's the impression that I've always been under, is that, I mean, or at least that was definitely something that was going to happen pre-COVID, was that Adam and I were going to be teams. Now with the situation with only one team per faction, I don't want to presume, but I believe that we are probably going to be that team.
That's the plan. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, things can change at a moment's notice. Kaiser's very improvisation.
I'm excited. I want to play with Adam. I think that he and I are going to be scarier than people think. And I also think that our conferring is going to be hilarious because he and I are really good at him being like, "Oh, it's that person. What's their name? They were in this, and this." And then he gets me to the answer, like we're good at like getting there together. So
round two should be fun. Last second answers. You'll get there in the end. How long is your 15 seconds?
Right. No, I mean, I think that's a good, strong pairing. I mean, there's definitely like a season H thing with him as well, that he's got, a couple more years on you. So he's going to know a couple of spots in backwards than you do. And you might know a little bit more forwards depending on certain spots. Something I just thought about, actually, I want to point out is that for the past couple of years, Stacy has been a bracket buster. And it's kind of like spiritual silver lining that you're arguably the bracket buster of this year's singles tournament. I know we didn't really submit him this time around, but you've kind of inherited Stacy's title, her not being in this tournament, and you've kind of just done what you did.
I am so happy to have busted people's brackets because here's the thing, like you said, I perform on a level with those top tier players. I've had a lot of bad luck, but accuracy wise, I can hang with most of them. And so like, the fact that people were sleeping on me in this matchup is, irritating. And then being able to bust those brackets and be like, "I told you so," feels good. It's like, right. It's, you don't want to do too many things in life out of spite, but winning out of spite, there's something about it. There's something about winning and then being like, suckers, right? Like, it feels good.
Down deep. You deep in the soul.
Yeah. So seeing everyone be like, Preston's got this easy, it just fuels the fire,
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
I was playing against Stacy, but I kind of want to see you just in this next match, just with wine, saying, No. This is what I do now.
Well, I'm actually kind of sad Stacy's not in this tournament because I want vengeance. I want vengeance so badly. She's beaten me 3 times. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable because every time I watch one of her matches, at home, I outplay her, and it's just something about. So it just needs to happen. I just need to beat Stacy at some point.
Speaking of somebody who knows what you're talking about, Chandru.
Winning on a fight, I guess.
What is that in reference to?
Winning on a fight.
Yeah, he gets it.
Shout out to our boy Chandru. Hey, Chandru.
So, like, that's a question. Maybe you get to face her in the team tournament. I know she wanted to concentrate on teams. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Probably not, because I mean, she's on. Because I think they probably would have Andreyko and
yeah, they would probably go Andreyko Snyder for that.
So never mind that. I started talking and I realized where she was, and that's probably.
I don't know though. You never know.
You never know. Pretty good run of Crimson Fury whenever she was doing that. I mean, they could always just say, you know what, let's change it up. Let's put Stacey in. She didn't get to make it in the singles, so.
And it's such a weird situation. Like the season, got so weird with all these shakeups and stuff that you just never know who's going to be around and what the schedule is going to break out as, and you never know. But even if it's not till next season, I want vengeance at some point. Doesn't have to be now.
Revenge can be served cold. Absolutely.
Exactly.
But for now, you TKO'd Paul Preston.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I TKO'd Paul Preston.
Oh. We can watch that match, guys. I heard it's good.
That's going to be your ringtone for at least the next week or two, right?
Can I have you record it, Paul? Can it just be your dulcet tones going, you TKO'd Paul Preston?
Anything for you, Eric. Anything for you, my friend.
Don't boost his ego, all right? We want to keep his ego nice and humble, Eric, all right?
Sorry.
He's already Schmominati enough here.
Schmominati, that's what I am. I am the Schmominati.
One of the many. Jake Yakavetta, let us know in chat who else is.
Jake will double too. That's true. Jake Yakavetta was all. Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much, Eric. Where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Letterboxd talking about movies. You can find me on Twitter at Grog is here with 2 G's at the beginning, and you can find me elsewhere on YouTube as a writer for The Completionist. So check all that stuff out.
Sweet, and you can find me TKOing Paul Preston.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You can find him at the corner of TKO and Paul Preston on that street, joyfully dancing over there. Can we all get a PLD? Take really quick before he plugs in. We get Paul's plugs. Can we agree that we retire the hat?
Never.
Jake is giving me a hard time because I gave him a hard time about misusing the word objectively on Twitter. Because he said that a movie was objectively bad, and that's just not how objectiveness works. That's his opinion. So I'm not going to say anything objectively about your hat, Paul, but subjectively, I think it's great, and you're great.
Thank you, Eric. See, I'm joking, my wife. Well, anyway, for our channel this week, we got a couple more reactions, fast breakdowns coming up on Thursday. We're going to be doing a twofer, Alex and Danielle, and I think Kelsey's some combination of those lovely ladies are going to be breaking down the Vinny Mancuso and Sabrina match with Vinny Mancuso guesting, and also the Kid and Alonso Duralde will also be broken down at that point. There's just so many matches going down this week.
Those are both going to be really good too. Like those are going to be.
I'm excited about both those matches. It's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, we're going to have a special call to action live. We usually do it Sundays. We're going to do it Saturday, where we can break down the big pay-per-view of the Corruption versus the Founding Fathers, as well as Who's the Boss versus Shazam. And that's a double card that's going to be worth staying up late for if you have to.
Oh, yeah.
And also the other matches that we didn't get to break down, which include Lon and Sabina from Monday. And the other one that I think I forgot this yesterday, the same one. There's another match that's playing this week on Wednesday, the doubleheader. Sabrina, it is.
Vinny, Sabrina, Kid Duralde.
I think it's.
I don't know.
Vinny and Sabrina. That's not it, is it?
No, that's the wrong one.
Jader and Veva. That's
yeah.
Gotcha. That's going to be a fun match too. That's one that I really have no idea. That could go either way. That's going to be good.
Jader's a great kid too, and he knows a lot. So
Jader is awesome. I really enjoy that guy.
Me too, definitely. So those are the ones we're going to break down those as well. Those ones we didn't have a chance to actually do a physical breakdown. So we'll do that on call live. And finally, last thing we got to do, Schmo-Base is also Wednesday, and they're still putting together some particulars about that. And finally, next week for Chilled Action on Monday is going to be our 50th episode, our 1-year anniversary.
Wow.
We are. I'll just play the Kelsey clip one more time. Since she makes them, I might as well use them as much as I possibly can. Yes, we're reuniting Team Action. Get your still Dre ready. Because even if Christian won't do it, we're going to. So, finally, you can find me at Paul_Duduzzi on Twitter. Find me on Class Action Weekly as well on the Action Industries YouTube channel. And PLD Projects is my own YouTube channel that I have started and will be working on sooner than later. So.
And I'm, of course, your host, Dylan Camacho. And you can catch me on Twitter at, I'm getting worse at it somehow. Right there. That's where you can catch me at Twitter. Catch me on Facebook. I'm around, whatever. You can also catch me over on anything on this channel, as well as our Twitch channel, where we occasionally do Twitch hangouts, where we just shoot the shit, for lack of better words. We talk Schmodown, not really that much, but it comes up, and otherwise we talk really random stuff. I want to do something special next week. I'm going to tease it. And then I haven't even talked the whole podcast about this, because it's my favorite thing to do.
Dylan pulled a coup right here, just throwing it out there.
Every time. I've got a birthday next week, so what better thing than Anime Week over on Twitch Hangouts, where we talk anime. We get really weeby. Let's get nerdy. Let's do anime. Let's do video games. Let's do the whole 9 yards, and then it will go off the rails, and then it'll get in some weird sex talk. Probably, I don't know. It usually does, but anyway, that's my suggestion. So tune in next week. Maybe there's going to be a Twitch Hangouts. There probably will be. It may not be on my birthday though, because I'll be busy. Birthday. Yeah. That aside, you can also catch me on Let's Make an Effing Movie podcast, where I do reviews with 3 other white guys, and we diversify the whole audience by being 4 other white guys on the audience and the internet doing reviews on movies. We're on season 3. I think we have Waterworld coming up still. So if you want to see my opinions on Waterworld, go tune in. It's actually the first time
Wow. Just the other day, I was like, I wonder what a bunch of white guys think about Waterworld.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, so I honestly don't care. If you want to go plug it, if you enjoy my commentary and banter, go see my reviews on that. It's the only thing I am doing other than this. But otherwise, guys, that's our show. So if you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. There's plenty of you guys. But if you're a Zipper fan and you just tuned in to see Zipper, we will try to get Zipper as much as possible. Hit that subscribe button so we can get that money to fund him and his cameos on this show. Otherwise, you can catch us tomorrow for all the great content that Paul just went over. Until then.
Yes, sorry my fee is so expensive, you guys.
Oh, bro, you're breaking our backs over here, Zipper.
That's on my first one soon. Thank you so much, Eric, for coming on. Thank you, everybody. And as always, we salute you guys.
Woo!